Hi everybody. Today we are going to talk about the infinitive. So as usual, let's begin with a definition. An infinitive is a verb form that can be used as a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. So that's a pretty versatile verb form, and you're probably pretty excited. You may even be as excited as Bertie was when he learned about infinitives. In any case, let's take a look at what an infinitive would look like. Most infinitives begin with to. We'll worry about that little word most later, but let's look at some examples for right now. To run, to sing, to skate, or to understand. So those are all infinitives. So you've got to plus a verb. Okay, now let's take a look at some of these infinitives in action and see if we can understand how they work. Let's begin by looking at infinitives being used as nouns. So here are a couple of examples. To fly is glorious. In this sentence, the infinitive is to fly, and it's the subject of the sentence. Brandon wanted to work on the play. In this sentence, the infinitive is to work, and it's the object of the verb wanted. Next, let's take a look at infinitives being used as adjectives. The place to visit is Williamsburg. So in this sentence, the infinitive is to visit, and it's modifying the noun place. It's telling us more about that noun. Next one. That record was the one to beat. In this sentence, the infinitive is to beat, and it's modifying the pronoun one. So it's acting just like an adjective. Next, let's take a look at some infinitives being used as adverbs. Sabina jumped to shoot. So the infinitive should jump right out at you. It's to shoot, and in this case, it's modifying the verb jumped. So it's acting like an adverb. And one other example, ready to go, we soon loaded the car. In this sentence, the infinitive is to go, and it's modifying the adjective ready. So it's acting like an adverb. Okay, so let's take a look at this really important note. To plus a noun or a pronoun, for example, to school, to him, to the beach, is a prepositional phrase. So just because you see the to followed by another word doesn't mean you're looking necessarily at an infinitive. An infinitive is to and a verb. Okay, at this point, please press pause and complete the exercise labeled Identifying and Classifying Infinitives. When you've finished answering all of the question, press play again so that you can check your answers. And here are those answers. So pause again for a moment and check your answers. You'll notice that in addition to the answers to the questions, I've given you a couple of little notes of the way that the infinitive is being used in the sentence. So just take a look-see at those as you're checking your answers. Okay, one final note that I need you guys to remember. If you remember the original definition, I said that most of the time an infinitive starts with to. Sometimes an infinitive will appear without the to. So let's just take a quick look at some examples of that. Essentially the to is implied, so just take a look at these sentences. The to isn't really in the sentence, but you can see how the verb form is still the infinitive. So let's take a look. She's done all her chores except feed the cat. So the to is kind of implied there, but the to doesn't really appear in the sentence. The next one, I'll help you pack. Again, the to is implied. The dogs like to roam the field and chase rabbits. So you've got to with the first infinitive, but it's not present in the second one. And then just one last example of this. Fuel injection helps cars run better and last longer. So in both of those cases, you can kind of imagine that the to is there. It's kind of implied, even though it doesn't really appear in the sentence. So just keep that in mind as we do exercises in the future. Okie dokie. So that brings us to the end of our discussion of infinitives.